Hello everyone, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to be doing anything really tech and in-game related, but I'd like to show a demonstration for a tool that I have been using to make a lot of the character guide combo sections. I've used it for the Shaheen guide, the very recent one, and the Claudio guide. And yeah, it's a really helpful tool that's really saved me a lot of time, and I'll get into the story behind it, but I just like to make a demonstration video for those who would like to know how to use it, because it's actually very helpful, and I think would be very helpful for content creators especially. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you want to note is that you have to download the zip file. I'll put a link to where you can get it in the description, but basically TECK, who is the creator and a friend of mine, will have a drive where he puts it up. This current version that I'm using is a pre-release version, so I'm kind of the first one aside from him to use it. So the version that you get in the drive at this time of recording, I think is an older version, so it won't be exactly the same, but it's kind of nearly there. And if you're watching this after it's been released, then you might have a newer version, of course. So being a zip file, obviously, once you've downloaded it, you just put it into wherever you want, and then you, of course, extract it. And there you go. So there's a folder here. Now, once you open it up, there is a README file. So these are instructions, basically, for how to use the application. But of course, for those people who don't like to read instructions, you can just skip that and watch this video. Now, there are two main folders right here. So this is images, which we'll get into later. Output is what you want to remember. Okay, you need to kind of keep that in the back of your head. Logo you can kind of ignore, and inputs you also want to keep in the back of your head because that might come in a bit useful later. The first thing you want to do is the exe file or executable file is this one, the one that's called Tekinput. You click on it, this command prompt window will open up, and then it will open up the actual application. It takes a while to load, but yeah. Okay, so once it's loaded up, this is what it should look like. Yours may not look the same, but it should be roughly there. This is what the application basically looks like. So as you can see, all of your button inputs are here. These are your generate, clear, erase options, and this is where you can also, donate to TECK if you want. If you really like the software and you want to support him, this would be great for you. So as you can see, these are all of your inputs. You can click on any of them and they will pop up on the preview window, and you will also have the actual input names on this text window right here. Now obviously erase is basically like a backspace. It just deletes the previously keyed input, and then clear just erases the whole thing. So to create your PNG file, basically what you want to do is to make your combo or whatnot, right? So let's say we'll make a Claudio combo. So his hop kick combo, so let's say we've made this combo, and then basically what you want to do is you hit generate and you wait a bit. The image will take longer to generate the longer the combo is, so just keep that in mind. So basically all you need to do is to wait, and the combo image should pop up. And basically where you can find it is, earlier I mentioned the images folder. You'll find it under here, output. So basically this is where you'll find the PNG file. It's very high resolution, by the way. It's really high resolution. As you can see, it's actually really sharp. What I usually do is I put it in Photoshop. So basically, as you can see, I already have my Photoshop ready already here, and this is basically where I do all my combo notations. So as you can see, I'll just drag it in, I'll scale it to the size I want, and then I'll just center it up, and boom, easy. So before, in case you guys didn't know, but before, what I used to do was actually I would, where the hell are my inputs? I would go to inputs and I would drag it in and scale it manually. Like, that was the process I had to go through, which was super tedious, and basically it took me an entire day to make the files for all of the combos in a character guide, which is why this app was created. I told TECK about it, and he was like, okay, I think I can get around that, and he made this app, which is the whole point. So that's basically the gist of how you work this app. I think it's pretty, I would say it's pretty intuitive, so I don't think that part needs a lot of explanation. But there is another feature of the application that you might not know about. So for those of you who don't want to straight up use the red icons that are put, like which is why I provided Techly with, that's why he's using it. But for those of you who don't want to be using that, you can also actually change the images for whatever's in here. Now the criteria is the height of the image must be exactly the same as the one you're replacing. So as you can see, if I hover over these images, you can notice that the height of all of them are 2000 pixels. Why are they so high res? It's just because I like high res and these are the images I provided him with. What this means is the image that you're using to replace it with has to have a height of 2000 pixels as well. So let's say I prefer something like this, right? I prefer these kinds of buttons. What you need to do is you have to make sure that the image has 2000 pixels in height. So what you can do is you can put it into any of your photo editing software, and you can export it again if it's not already 2000 pixels in height. What you can do is you can see here, I can just change the height to 2000 and export somewhere. I'll just export it to the same folder. Now there is another criteria to doing this. The second criteria is actually to have the same name as the files that you're replacing. So what that means is you can see this is called 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 3, and so on and so forth. The image that you're replacing with has to have the exact same name. So as you can see right here, I have the image that I'm gonna use to replace it. It's called 1+2 BW, whereas the one I want to replace is called 12 or 12 or whatever. So I have to change the name of the file to be exactly the same. So I'll just change it to 12, and then I can just drag it in. And then, you know, you should probably back up the images in case, but also if you mess up, you can just download or re-extract the zip file again and just have the whole app from scratch. But I'm just going to replace it just for demonstration purposes. And then I will open the app again, and you can see that it will pop up as an icon. So as you can tell right now, it's the image that I replaced with, the 1+2 image, is now the replacement right here. And it looks weird on the preview. Generally, if you replace images, even if they're the correct height, they tend to look a bit weird on the preview. But you can see once you generate it, it looks perfectly fine. Like you can see it's perfectly normal. So yeah, that's how you replace images. Now this 2000 pixels height thing is not constant. I believe Techly is working on a performance version where the images are lower resolution so that the app will load faster. But basically, you just need to remember to check the height of the image to see what the height of the image is, and make sure the app that you're replacing it with has the exact same height. And you also need to make sure that you are using the exact same naming scheme as the one in here. Otherwise, you might fuck up the software or some shit, because I don't really know the coding side of things. So yeah, that's really it. It's actually a very simple but very helpful software. I was kind of the beta tester for this because the issue that I brought up to Techly was that, yeah, it was annoying to make the combo notations manually, so he just made this for me. And I don't think he initially planned to release it, but I did egg him on to, you know, make this a public version so that people can make use of it. So I was kind of the beta tester for a very long time, and I provided him with all these images as well. So I did have a small hand in making this, but he really pulled like all of the stops for this, and it's really saved my ass. Like making these combos was really annoying by doing it in Photoshop, but with his app, it's actually really helpful. So any content creators who is making like a combo guide, or if you're making any sort of tutorial and you want to make the inputs there, this is really helpful because rather than having to manually do it in Photoshop or in your video editing software, this is just a lot easier. So I recommend people use this app if you're going to be making content for Tekken. So yeah, that's really it. It's really simple, but it's a really helpful app. So I hope you guys give it a shot and see whether you like it or not. Now, of course, the link to the app will be in the description below. I will link the Drive folder where he drops the zip files. And keep in mind that your version of the app may not look the exact same as mine, so I may have a different version that you get. So in any case, thanks all for watching this quick video on the demonstration on the Tekinput application. And please go follow TECK on Twitter, where he will post updates on this application. And you can also follow me on Twitter as well, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks once again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.